Hi everyone, we are going to start with the last session of chapter optics right now. In previous two lectures, we had enough discussion on optics, derivations, prisms, and last point was discussed is some natural phenomena due to sunlight. In that we discussed about sky color, that is why it's bluish, why it is reddish, why it looks like orange or yellow. Then mirage क्या होता है, then we had discussion on rainbow, primary and secondary. Today we are going to discuss about these all points, that is defects of lenses, chromatic aberration, spherical aberration, optical instruments, resolving and magnifying power, simple microscope, compound microscope and telescope. Let's start. As we discussed in aberration for curved mirrors, while deriving various relations, we assume most of the rays to be paraxial by using lenses of small aperture. But in reality, we have objects of finite sizes. We need optical devices of large apertures. In such cases, the beam of rays is no more paraxial, quite often not parallel also. As a result, the spherical aberration discussed for spherical mirrors can occur for lenses also. Only one defect is mentioned corresponding to monochromatic beam of light. The different kinds of lens defects are constructions and functions. A double convex lens is a disc-shaped object made of material such as glass or plastic. Spherical aberration, light impinging on different areas of the spherical surface of the lens will not meet at precisely the same spot. Chromatic aberration and chromatic aberration too. Convex lenses have played important role in scientific discovery. Telescopes have enabled scientists to view distant celestial bodies. With microscopes, scientists have discovered the basic constituents of life. Through the camera, explorers have acquired a permanent record of their discoveries in the natural world. The convex lens is the chief component of these three instruments. Although dependable, the convex lens has intrinsic defects with which instrument makers have had to deal. What is construction and function of this? A double convex lens is a disc-shaped object made of materials such as glass or plastic. If properly constructed, each of two sides of this disc will bulge out in a regular curve to form a section of a sphere. When parallel rays of light impinge upon this lens perpendicular to the plane of the disc, the lens will refract or bend these light rays so that they come to a focus. A lens which effectively focuses light forms clear images and aptly fulfills its appointed role in a telescope, microscope or camera. However, if the lens has defects of construction such as improper curvature or material that is not perfectly homogeneous, the image will proportionally suffer. Now, we are having discussion on spherical aberration. The first principal focus is like this. It is a point on the principal axis of a lens at which if an object is placed, the image would be formed at infinity. आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ पे रखा हुआ है, इमेज लेकिन हमें कहाँ पे मिल रही है? It will be formed at infinity. Exactly opposite to this, second principal focus is a point on the principal axis of the lens at which the image is formed when the object is kept at infinity. यहाँ पे exactly opposite हुआ है, object यहाँ पे रखा है लेकिन image कहाँ पे हमें मिल रही है? At finite distance on a principal axis. Next point, chromatic aberration. In case of mirrors, there is no dispersion of light due to refractive index. However, Lenses are prepared by using a transparent material medium having different refractive index for different colors. Hence, angular dispersion is present. A convex lens can be approximated to two thin prisms connected base to base, and for a concave lens, those are vertex to vertex. If the lens is thick, this will be result into notably different foci corresponding to each color for a polychromatic beam like a white light. This defect is called chromatic aberration. It results from the fact that a lens refracts or bends some colors of light more sharply than others. A lens bends violet light rays more sharply than green. The ray suffers even less refraction. As a result, the lens tends to separate white light into its component colors and a color halo results. The Englishman John Donald solved the problem by invention of a chromatic doublet, a combination of two lenses of different glass materials in which one type of glass corrected the chromatic aberration of the other. You can see it over here in these two diagrams. One is chromatic aberration for convex lens and one is chromatic aberration for concave lens. Longitudinal chromatic aberration, transverse chromatic aberration and circle of the least confusion are defined in the same manner as that of spherical aberration for spherical mirrors. What is spherical aberration? अभी हमने क्या बोला कि ये बाकी सारे जो कंपोनेंट्स है, बाकी सारे जो फिनोमिनॉन्स है, ये सेम स्फेरिकल एबेरेशन जैसे ही काम करते हैं क्रोमैटिक में भी. सो सबसे पहले डिस्कस करते हैं व्हाट इज स्फेरिकल एबेरेशन. Light impinging on different areas of the spherical surface of the lens will not meet at precisely the same spot. The rays striking the lens farthest from the center will focus slightly closer to the lens than strike the lens near its center. This intrinsic defect of spherical lenses, called spherical aberration, results in a blurred image. Blocking the edge of the lens produces a better focus. In many instruments, a skillful combination of different lenses nearly eliminates spherical aberration. Next point. Now we are going to discuss about how to reduce chromatic aberration and spherical aberration. For a chromatic aberration, eliminating chromatic aberration simultaneously for all the colors is impossible. We try to eliminate it for extreme colors, which reduces it for other colors too. Convenient methods to do it use either a convex and a concave lens in contact or two thin lenses which are convex with proper separation. Such a combination is called a chromatic combination. A chromatic combination of two lenses in contact. Let us consider omega 1 and omega 2 be a dispersive pairs of materials of two component lenses used in contact for an chromatic combination. Their focal lengths f for violet, red and yellow are suffixed by respective letters V, R and Y. Now when two thin lenses are in contact, then 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2. This is be used separately for respective colors. Now when you consider omega 1 is less than omega 2 or omega 2 is less than omega 1, you can derive this equation for combination of two lenses. Either they are converging or they are diverging too. Then how to reduce spherical aberration of lenses? You can use a plano-convex or plano-concave lens with curved side facing the incident rays. Reversing it increases the aberration appreciably. Certain ratio of the radii of curvature for a given refractive index almost eliminates the spherical aberration. Use of two thin converging lenses separated by distance equal to difference between their focal lengths with lens of larger focal length facing the incident rays considerably reduces spherical aberration. For a convex lens, it's positive, while that of concave lens, it is negative. Thus, a suitable combination of them can completely eliminate spherical aberration. So these are few methods with which you can reduce the aberration. Now, we are going to discuss about optical instruments. Whether an object appears bigger or not does not necessarily depend upon its own size. Huge mountains far off may appear smaller than a smaller tree close to us. This is because of the angle subtended by the mountain at the eye from that distance is smaller than that subtended by the tree from its position. Hence, apparent size of an object depends upon the visual angle subtended by the object from its position. However, due to the limitations for focusing the eye lens, it is not possible to take an object closer than a certain distance. What is exact difference between microscopes and telescopes? Microscopes and telescopes function similarly by letting people view objects not visible to the naked eye. However, telescopes are designed to view distant faint objects and such have larger lens diameters as well as longer focal lengths and changeable eyepieces. Aside from this, both instruments utilize convex and concave glasses to magnify the object of interest. Although both devices use similar scientific concepts, their differences are central to their ability to fulfill their specific purpose. There are few differences in between, basic differences. Although both instruments magnify objects so that the human eye can see them, a microscope looks at things very near while telescope view things very far away. This difference in purpose explains the substantial differences in their design. Biologists and chemists use microscopes ordinarily in laboratories, while astronomers use telescopes in observatories. What about focal length? Although both instruments use lenses to magnify objects, the construction differs from one to the other. Focal length distinguishes between the two in the fairly straightforward way. Amazing Space AmazingSpace.science.edu defines focal length as the distance between the center of the convex lens or a concave mirror and the focal point of the lens or mirror. The point where parallel rays of light meet or converge. A telescope has objective lenses producing long focal lengths, while a microscope has objective lenses producing short focal lengths. If an object is brought closer, we cannot see it clearly. If an object is too small, the corresponding visual angle is not enough to see it. And if we bring it closer than that, its image on the retina is blurred. The visual angle made by cosmic objects far away from us is too small to make out minor details, and we cannot bring those closer. In such cases, we need optical instruments. And for that, here we are discussing about microscopes and telescopes. Now, what is simple microscope? In order to read very small letters in a newspaper, sometimes we use convex lens. We have, see, I'm sorry, watchmakers using a spherical type of small convex lens while looking at very tiny parts of a wristwatch. Convex lens used for this purpose is a simple microscope. So you can see it over here, simple microscope with their basic phenomena, that is eyepiece, nosepiece, objectives, specimen stage and aperture diagram, body, light and base. These are some parts of simple microscope. In your textbook there is one small derivation which gives us relation for magnification or magnifying power of this simple microscope. You can see it, visual angle alpha made by an object when kept at least distance from the distinct vision capital D. हमने क्या कंसिडर किया है कि ये जो पॉइंट ऑब्जेक्ट हमने पे रखा है वो हमने एक स्मॉल डिस्टिंक्ट पे रखा है जहाँ पे हम लोग क्लियरली देख सकते हैं एंड वी कंसिडर दैट डिस्टेंस एज अ कैपिटल D. Without an optical instrument, this is the greatest possible visual angle as we cannot get the object closer than this. इससे कम हम नहीं रख सकते क्योंकि blur हो जाएगा. In second figure, we discuss about a convex lens forming erect virtual and magnifying image of the same object. When placed within a focus, the visual angle beta, यहाँ पे पहले हमने क्या देखा था अल्फा, यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है बीटा प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है. Now we are going to consider when the distance is smaller than d. It makes beta greater than alpha. So its magnifying power is given by visual angle of the image to the visual angle of the object when at d. It's beta upon alpha. So for beta upon alpha, when they are very small, you can write tan beta upon tan alpha. Now from this figure, you can find out values of tan beta and tan alpha also. So it becomes BA upon PA divided by BA upon D. It is capital D upon U. So magnifying power of simple microscope is capital D upon U. Just go to that. इतना ही याद रखो, इसके ऊपर कुछ नहीं आता है न्यूमेरिकल्स है, बस D अपॉन U जो आपको फॉर्मूला दिया गया है, either D upon U or D upon F plus 1. So you can just go through that. Question might be arises, define a simple microscope and give a formula for its magnification or magnifying power. Moving towards next point. First of all, let's discuss about what is magnifying power. Angular magnification or magnifying power is the ratio of visual angle made by the image formed by the optical instrument to the visual angle suspended by the object when kept at least distance of a distinct vision. जो हमने beta upon alpha किया था, that is called as magnifying power. In this case of telescopes, alpha is angle subtended by the object from its own position as it is not possible to get it closer. Microscopes and telescopes helps us in increasing the visual angle, that is called as magnification. Got it? Now, there is one more point which is there in this PPT and might be not explained in your textbook, but it's very important according to your competitive view also. Resolving power of microscope and telescope. The resolving power of microscope is the reciprocal of the distance between two objects, which can be just resolved when seen through the microscope. So it's 1 upon lambda d, or you can write it as a 2 mu sine theta upon lambda. It depends on wavelength, refractive index of the medium between the object and objective, and half angle of the cone of light from one of the object theta. For telescope, it is reciprocal of the smallest angular separation between two distant objects whose images are seen separately, 1 upon d theta or a upon 1.22 lambda. It depends on wavelength and diameter of the objective A. We are having a derivation for angular magnification or magnifying power. It is the ratio of the angle beta suspended by the final image at the eye to the angle alpha subtended by the object seen directly when both are placed at least distance of distinct region. M is equal to beta upon alpha. They are very small, so alpha can be tan alpha and beta is equal to tan beta. M is equal to tan beta upon tan alpha. We already had discussion on this point. Just go through that once. We'll move towards next point. Next, compound microscope. The magnifying power of a simple microscope is inversely proportional to its focal length. If we need focal length to be smaller and smaller, the corresponding lens becomes thicker and thicker. For such a lens, both spherical as well as chromatic aberration are dominant. Thus, if higher magnifying power is needed, we go for using more than one lenses. The instrument is then called as compound microscope. It is used to view very small objects, ranges from 10 raised to minus 1 millimeter to 10 raised to minus 3 millimeter. Whether the image is erect or inverted is immaterial. A compound microscope essentially uses two convex lenses of suitable focal lengths fit into a cylindrical tube with the some instrumental adjustment possible for its length. The smaller lens facing the object is called objective. Other lens with which the observer jams eye is little larger and called as the eye lens. Here, what is objective? The converging lens nearer to the object. Eyepiece, the converging lens through which the final image is seen. Both are of short focal length. Focal length of eyepiece is slightly greater than that of objective. You can see diagram. ऑब्जेक्टिव आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, आई पीस आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, रेज कैसे कन्वर्ट हो रहे हैं, डाइवर्ट हो रहे हैं, वो आपको दिखाई दे रहा है. Let's go through its derivational part. In this case, when we consider, let's move towards your text. You can see it over here. A teeny object AB is placed between F and 2F of the objective. आपको दिखाई दे रहा है AB, यहाँ पे F है. After that, it's 2F. So it's placed in between F and 2F, which produces a real, inverted and magnified image A dash B dash in front of eye lens. You can see it over here. Real, inverted and magnified A dash B dash. Position of the eye lens is so adjusted that the image A dash B dash is within its focus. देखो within a focal length ये क्या है? A dash B dash form है. The magnifying power of a compound microscope with two lenses given by, देखो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? It's given by A double dash B double dash divided by B is equal to A dash B dash upon UE. Tan alpha AB upon D. As we know that magnifying power is beta upon alpha. ये दोनों वैल्यूज यहाँ पे सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दीजिए. वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट करने के बाद you'll get A dash B dash upon AB into D upon UE. That is M is equal to M naught into ME. That is M object into M image. Where A dash B dash upon AB is the linear magnification of the objective and ME is the angular magnification or magnifying power of eye lens. Question might be occurs like what is compound microscope, explain its working and derive an expression for its angular magnification. ये पूरा का पूरा लिखने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. स्टार्ट विद दिस पॉइंट. आप इतना ही लिखोगे तो भी मोर देन इनफ. Moving towards next, that is telescope. It is instrument which is used to see the terrestrial or astronomical bodies. A telescope essentially uses two lenses. The lens facing the object is of aperture as large as possible. For Newtonian telescopes, a large parabolic mirror faces the object. For terrestrial telescopes, the objects to be seen are on the earth like mountains, trees, players playing a match in a stadium, etc. In such cases, the final images must be erect. Eye lens used for this purpose must be concave, and such a telescope is popularly used called a binoculars. हमें बाइनोक्यूलर्स पता है, जनरली ये वर्ड हमें पता है. टेलीस्कोप की जगह अगर बाइनोक्यूलर्स बोला होता तो आप लोगों को तुरंत समझ में आ जाता कि हम ये यूज क्यों करते हैं, बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स अ कॉमनली फैमिलियर टर्म फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस. For an astronomical telescope, the objects to be seen are planets, stars, galaxies, etc. In this case, there is no necessity of erect image. Such telescopes use convex lens as eye lens. Then which term is called as magnifying power of the telescope? हमें माइक्रोस्कोप का तो पता चल गया, इट्स बीटा अपॉन अल्फा. The term is same for this. बट बीटा अपॉन अल्फा कहाँ से आता है, क्या वैल्यू लाता है, ये अब हम डिस्कस करेंगे. ऑब्जेक्ट्स टू बी सीन थ्रू टेलीस्कोप्स कैन नॉट बी ब्रॉट टू डिस्टेंस डी फ्रॉम द ऑब्जेक्टिव. सही बात है, बहुत दूर का डिस्टेंस से हम ला ही नहीं सकते. लाइक इन माइक्रोस्कोप्स, हिंस फॉर टेलीस्कोप, अल्फा इज द विजुअल एंगल ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट फ्रॉम इट्स ओन पोजिशन विच इज प्रैक्टिकली एट इंफिनिटी. Visual angle of final image is beta and its position can be adjusted to be at capital D. Under normal adjustments, the final image is also at infinity but making a greater visual angle than that of the object. Beam of incident rays is inclined at alpha with the principal axis, while emergent beam is inclined at a greater angle beta with the principal axis, causing angular magnification. Now you can see it over here. For this, focal length f0 focuses the parallel incident beam at a distance f0 from the objective, giving an inverted image. आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो, we consider that is I. For normal adjustment, the eye lens is so adjusted that the intermediate image happen to be at the focus of the eye lens. Rays refracted beyond the eye lens form a parallel beam inclined at an angle beta with the principal axis, resulting into image also at infinity. Now, derivation for this. It is the normally ratio of the angle subtended by the image at the eye as seen through the telescope to the angle subtended by the object as seen directly, when both object and the image are at infinity. So m is again beta upon alpha. There is tan beta upon tan alpha. So tan beta in image, you can see tan beta opposite upon adjacent. So you can write FEI upon PE, FE divided by FEI upon P naught FE. It's minus I upon minus FE according to Cartesian system, divided by minus I upon F naught. So I cancel, remaining term minus F naught upon FE. F naught plus Fe is equal to L is called the length of the telescope in normal adjustments. Under the allowed limit of objective's length of the maximum possible focal length f0 and the eye length of maximum possible focal length fe can be chosen for maximum magnifying power. So this is all about this chapter. ये जो लास्ट पार्ट आपको बताया गया है फॉर द ईयर 2021, फ्रॉम दैट पार्ट telescope and its magnifying power is not there for this year 2021 only. Rest all part can be there, and it's as it might be asked as a objective type question or only as the ray diagrams. So just go through that all points. For any doubt you can always contact us. I hope you understood. I'll stop you for now.